My name is Dr. Abyss. If you are hearing this, know that some truths cannot be undone. This is the story of how humanity, blind in its arrogance, stumbled into a war that predates the stars, a battle between gods whose wills shape galaxies. We were not invited, we were not prepared, and yet we are here. Now, among the wreckage of the Martian bases, I am one of the last to witness what remains. I am aboard the ship of Osiris, a being whose existence predates myths, an emperor of distant worlds waging war against his own brothers. I do not know which side we will stand on when this war ends. Perhaps we never had a choice. Aboard Osiris's colossal ship, I felt as if the universe itself conspired to show me what no human was ever meant to know. Osiris, towering in his presence, walked slowly toward the immense window that framed the stars. His voice, as deep as the echo of thunder, broke the silence. I will tell you what history has forgotten, what was buried in the sands of time and the waters of oblivion, abyss. Not because you deserve to know, but because your mind is capable of bearing the weight of this knowledge. There was a moment of hesitation in his gaze, as if for an instant he himself feared the words he was about to speak. Countless millennia ago, my father Amun was a cosmic explorer, a being so ancient that even we, his children, have lost the knowledge of his true origins. He wandered among the stars, gathering knowledge, mastering technologies no living being could ever fully comprehend. The Earth, a young and promising world, caught his attention. Here he found the raw material for his most ambitious experiments: humans. Amun brought his creation to this planet, us, the Amonarchs. Myself, Ra, Horus, Anubis, and Set. Each of us was shaped to reflect an aspect of our father. Ra inherited his thirst for knowledge, Horus his strength and courage, Anubis his curiosity for the unknown, Set his insatiable ambition. And I was the imperfect reflection of all these qualities, but never the excellence of any. Osiris paused, as if the weight of this confession unsettled him. I remained silent, engraving every detail into my mind. Our father did not come merely to observe. He shaped this world as a sculptor shapes raw marble. He saw in humanity an infinite potential, but also a frailty that needed correction. And so Amon began what he called the Great Project. He merged our essence, the blood of the Amonarchs, with humanity. The first hybrids were born from this union. They were not merely human, yet they were not entirely like us either. They were something new, a delicate balance between the divine and the terrestrial. Amon entrusted the monoliths with the task of accelerating this evolution. These machines, so ancient and advanced that they defied all logic, could manipulate matter at levels even our most loyal servants failed to comprehend. With them, we raised entire cities in days, cultivated crops in barren lands, and built civilizations that flourished as never before. But we did not do this freely. In return, humans worked for us. They built temples in our honor, sang hymns to us, worshipped us as gods, and in truth, to them, we were exactly that. Osiris paused, as if savoring the memory of a time when he and his brothers ruled without question. Each of us played a role in this project. Ra, always the visionary, took it upon herself to elevate science to unimaginable heights. With her monolith, she unraveled the universe's secrets, creating new technologies and refining the hybrids so they could grow ever closer to an ideal perfection. Her most loyal servant, Thoth, was her right hand. He cataloged every advancement, every discovery, ensuring that knowledge was never lost. To Ra, humanity was an unfinished work, something she could sculpt until it reached absolute perfection. Horus, my dear brother, was the protector, a warrior without equal. He led our armies and ensured that no external or internal threat could jeopardize the project. His wings were the symbol of our strength. His presence inspired fear in our enemies and loyalty in our servants. Wherever conflict arose, Horus was there, resolving it through strength or strategy. To him, order was the fundamental principle of progress. Anubis, on the other hand, walked darker paths. He was fascinated by the hidden mysteries of Earth, by forces even our father did not fully understand. He descended into the planet's depths, exploring ancient ruins and studying secrets that seemed to have been buried long before our emergence. He believed that true power lay not only in science or strength, but in the mastery of the unknown. His practices were often controversial, but his results were undeniable. Many of our greatest advancements came from his discoveries, though the cost was often high. And then there was Set. Osiris paused for a moment, his expression hardening. It was evident that even now, millennia later, the name of Set still provoked a latent pain. Set was different from all of us. While Ra sought perfection, Horus protected, and Anubis unraveled mysteries, Set wanted only power. He saw humanity as disposable tools, not as something to be shaped or protected. To him, we, his own brothers, were rivals, obstacles in his path to becoming the greatest. He despised the idea that Amon had united us to work together. He believed that only the strongest should rule and that the rest should submit. While he pretended to collaborate, he conspired in the shadows, manipulating humans and hybrids for his own goals. Set was never satisfied. Every advancement we made was, to him, an opportunity to stand out, to surpass us all. He did not see brothers. He saw enemies. Osiris turned his gaze to me, as if trying to measure my reaction to these revelations. As time passed, conflicts began to grow. Small disagreements became great divisions, and at the center of it all was Set, feeding discord, pitting us against each other. He was the first to realize that the monoliths were not just tools, they were weapons, and with them he could not only control Earth, but conquer the cosmos. Osiris's words hung heavy in the air. It was as if each phrase was a blow, revealing the true nature of the conflict that had shaped not only Earth, but the entire universe. I could barely imagine what was to come next, but I knew that behind each word, even darker truths awaited revelation. As our domains flourished, another force emerged in the shadows, Atlantis. They were human, yes, but humans who had taken a completely different path from the one we had traced for mankind. They rejected our gifts, our guidance, and sought their own ascension. Their science, though distinct from ours, rivaled that of Ra and Thoth in sophistication. But they followed a dangerous path. They did not manipulate the cosmos as we did, but bent life into forms that defied nature itself. They modified living creatures, transforming them into living weapons and tools of destruction. They did not revere us, they feared us, and perhaps they were right. Our proliferation, the hybrids we created, and the empires we raised were destabilizing the planet. Common humanity, the pure ones, as Atlantis saw themselves, feared that our lineage would replace theirs, erasing any trace of what they believed to be true humanity. The tension grew until it became unbearable. War was inevitable. Atlantis, in its paranoia and pride, declared us enemies. They launched attacks on our domains, and in response, Horus led armies to contain their expansion. But Atlantis was no ordinary civilization. They had created something unimaginable. That was when Atlantis revealed its last gambit, the Leviathan, a colossal creature, larger than anything that had ever inhabited Earth, a monstrosity that embodied the peak of their genetic engineering. The Leviathan was not just a living being, it was a weapon of total destruction. It carried within it the force of the oceans, bringing forth raging waters to flood the world and erase everything we had built. The attack was devastating. The Leviathan rose as the greatest symbol of Atlantean power, and with it came the Great Flood. Cities that had risen in glory were consumed by the waters. Temples and monoliths were buried. Our people, the hybrids, were nearly annihilated, and our achievements were erased like words written in the sand. Amon, our father, saw that the chaos was beyond any control. He, who had always remained distant from earthly disputes, decided to intervene one last time. In an act of supreme sacrifice, he confronted the Leviathan. The battle was incomprehensible, shaken by forces that even we, his children, could not fully grasp. With his most loyal servants, Amon descended into the depths to contain the Leviathan. The final confrontation destroyed them both, but not before Amon performed one last act of mercy. He used his remaining power to stabilize the planet, even knowing that it would cost him his existence. Before vanishing, he gave us his final order to abandon Earth. "The Amonarchs can no longer walk this world," he said. "You have unbalanced what I built. You brought both glory and ruin. It is time to let humanity forge its own path, free from our shadow." And so, with heavy hearts, we left. Each of us chose a path, a distant corner of the galaxy to rebuild our own destinies, carrying with us the scars of defeat and the weight of our father's sacrifice. Osiris fell silent, his gaze lost in memories that seemed even heavier beneath the glow of the stars surrounding us. For a moment, he was not the imposing monarch who led a galactic empire. He was just a son mourning the loss of a father and a home he could never reclaim. Now you know what is at stake, Dr. Abyss. The choice is yours. You can stay and watch, or you can help prevent the universe from facing the same destruction that nearly annihilated Earth. I did not know what to say. For the first time, I felt like I was on a playing field far greater than any conspiracy or secret I had ever uncovered before. The past of the Amonarchs was not just history. It was the prelude to something that was still to come. Osiris took another step forward, his colossal presence filling the space with an almost tangible weight. I am not a being of science, Dr. Abyss. My essence transcends what you call method or logic. Among my followers, there are scientists, yes. They contribute what they can, but they are not the best the universe has to offer. He paused, and for the first time I saw a glimpse of humility in his voice. There is, however, one exception, Celeste Aurea. She is unique, an extraordinary mind, a scientist like few others. Her vision extends beyond what most mortals can perceive, but even she has her limits. Osiris tilted his head slightly, staring at me in a way that seemed to pierce through my soul. Humanity's science, though fragmented and full of uncertainties, holds a potential that we recognize, and you, Dr. Abyss, are the key to that. Helping me in my goals is not submission, it is collaboration. If you accept, the scientists of Purple Lagoon, Red Dragon, and even Gigantia could unite their efforts. Every resource mankind has ever achieved, and the ambition that still drives it, could be directed toward something greater, something that truly matters. The idea of joining forces with organizations I had so long avoided, and even secretly fought, seemed insane. But the magnitude of the threat he presented, and the reality of his story, was impossible to ignore. And you, Dr. Abyss, he added, his voice like controlled thunder, with your mind, your ability to see what others do not, would be essential. Without you, this alliance is nothing more than an empty dream. The decision is yours. I could not answer. Not at that moment. For the first time, I felt like I was part of a game much bigger than any conspiracy or secret I had ever uncovered. The past of the Amonarchs was not just history. It was the prelude to something that was still to come. And so began my descent even deeper into the abyss of the unknown.